Let's kick things off with a big question. What is the meaning of life? No, I'm being serious. How do you explain to yourself why you actually got out of bed this morning? I get it, it's a heavy question, but don't worry, there are pre-packaged answers ready for you. You just have to pick one. So, what is it? Service to God. That's what they say in the Vatican, and it's what everyone said everywhere during the Middle Ages. Life is a gift from the Creator, and your time on Earth is just a rehearsal for eternity. No? Okay. Service to the people. That was the answer in the USSR and other 20th century nations. We exist to expand human potential and send civilization to the distant stars. Still no? Well, for the last 50 years, the West has been saying the meaning of life isn't any of that. The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. Wait, what? 42? Okay, click off the video. Next. But hold on. That is the exact answer a supercomputer gave after millions of calculations in the book The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But why 42? Well, why not? The point is, it's foolish to look for a simple, short answer to the meaning of life. You have to define that meaning for yourself. That was the author's answer in the early 80s. Back then, postmodernism was in fashion, and nobody was looking for a single shared ideology anymore. Postmodernism, or just postmodernity. You've probably heard the word. Usually, people use it to describe artists putting urinals in museums or duct taping a banana to a wall. But actually, it's much more interesting than that. We have premodernity, modernity, and postmodernity. Ooh, sounds complex. Let's simplify. A paradigm is just a worldview, a collective idea of how the universe works. Different countries, different eras, different people, they all saw things differently. But within those eras, something united them. America looked at the world this way. 1930s Germany looked at it very differently. The Soviet Union saw something else entirely. Now, forget about Generation X, Y, and Z. They measure periods in just 20 years. That's nothing. Those labels were invented by marketers just to sell you more M&Ms or IKEA furniture. Real global cultural epochs, there are only three. Pre-modernity in traditional society, modernity in industrial society, postmodernity in the world of mass culture and the internet. It sounds a bit abstract right now, I know, but give me just 30 minutes and I'll teach you what people spend years learning in sociology and philosophy courses. I'm going to save you a lot of time. I'll show you how our ancestors saw the world, how our parents saw it, and how all these different worldviews are mixing together right now. Here is what you're going to find out. Why was the medieval era so obsessed with suffering? Why were countries constantly at war? What kind of future were people in the past preparing for? Why did the great ideologies collapse? How did the whole world turn into text? Why is new sincerity the trend today? And why do modern generations refuse to support the past? This is your life, and I don't mean my face on the screen 24/7. I mean the 750,000 hours you get from your first breath to your last. That's actually not that much, by the way. It's about enough time to fly to Pluto and back 4 times. But here is what the average human life looks like if you turn it into a pizza. Exactly half of this pizza is just maintenance for your animal body. Sleeping, eating, going to the bathroom, flipping the pillow to the cool side, and so on. What do an ancient Greek philosopher, a medieval Chinese peasant, and a Russian merchant from the 16th century have in common? Answer: not much. But if you look closely at how they thought, you'll find they were actually running on the exact same operating system. Until about the 15th century, before science took over, everyone lived in the era of pre-modernity. Take a peasant, a citizen of Athens, and a merchant. At the center of their world was God. Maybe it's Zeus, maybe it's Christ, maybe it's Buddha. You didn't get to choose. You believed exactly what your father and grandfather believed. And I don't mean metaphorically. I mean literally everything was about God. You got sick? Demons. You got better? God blessed you. Thank you. It rained. God wants you to have a good harvest. God created the world and gave us the rules of the game. Sharing is good. Killing is bad. This is called revelation. But since God doesn't like to repeat himself, people wrote these rules down in big, heavy books and built the church to explain them. Who decides what is good or bad? Just ask your local priest. But what about daily life? First off, no coffee shops, no nail salons, no factories. Just fields of wheat or rice. 99% of people lived like this: grow grain, feed cattle, sleep, repeat. Secondly, society was strictly divided. Your rights and duties were transmitted, let's say, biologically, by inheritance. Moving from one class to another was basically impossible. Look at the caste system in India. You have priests, warriors, merchants, servants, and then the untouchables who fell down the social elevator shaft. If you were born in a slum, you stayed in a slum. You couldn't even approach the upper castes, but you didn't complain. Why? Because it's karma. You behaved badly in a past life, so deal with it now. Behave well now, and maybe your next life will be better. Simple, right? Stay in your lane, don't complain. Life in the Middle Ages was a zero-sum game. The pie didn't get bigger. If you wanted to get rich, you had to take land from someone else, hence constant wars. And travel? Forget tourism. The goal was pilgrimage or war. You walked about 12 miles a day. That is so slow that you could literally get married, raise a son, and die before you reached your destination. So, medieval peasants lived in info bubbles. Their world ended where they could walk. They only saw exotic animals in weird, badly drawn engravings. Look at this. Is it a whale? A fish? A monster? Nope, that's actually a hippo. And this armored thing carrying shields? That's a turtle. Why did they look like that? Because nobody had seen them. It was all rumors. So knowing that other cultures existed was impossible for most people. Life on Earth was just a prelude to the afterlife. That's why they built giant temples like the Parthenon or the pyramids while living in wooden shacks. Logic? I build a house for God, God gives me a VIP pass to heaven. Society was traditional. Patriarchy ruled. The father is the boss, the oldest son gets the inheritance. Remember Puss in Boots? The oldest son got the mill, the middle one got the donkey, and the youngest got the cat. The youngest son in fairy tales always gets the short end of the stick, which is why he has to be smart and hustle. So, to summarize Premodernity, the world is God's temple. The source of truth is the church. Knowledge is oral. Art is religious. Hierarchy is everything. And it stayed that way for thousands of years. It seemed like it would last forever, until it didn't. In the 15th century, the world cracks open. Europeans discover America. Copernicus proves the Earth orbits the sun. Gutenberg invents the printing press. Boom! Mind blown! Suddenly, books aren't just for priests. Art starts focusing on humans, not just God. The Renaissance man thinks, therefore he exists. Then comes the Industrial Revolution. Factories smoke. Peasants move to cities. Man realizes, wait, I don't need God to change my life. I have science and reason. This is modernity. The goal isn't heaven after death. It's building heaven right here on Earth. Making money is no longer a sin, it's a virtue. GDP starts doubling. Steamships and trains connect the world. You can leave your village, change your job, get rich, or die trying. In modernity, the world is a mechanism. Give me a lever and I'll move the world. People dreamed of the future, flying police officers, domes over cities to control the weather. Who were the new priests? Scientists and politicians. We stopped building pyramids for God and started building megadams and turning rivers around because the state said so. Ideologies like Nazism, communism, and liberalism emerged. They all claimed to have the scientific formula for a perfect society. But they crashed hard. Nazism led to concentration camps. Communism led to the Gulag. The 20th century showed us that you can't build happiness on piles of bones. So, people got tired of big ideas. Philosophers call this the death of meta-narratives. We realized that blind faith in authority, whether it's religion or science, can lead to nukes dropping on cities. And then the internet happened. Welcome to postmodernity. The world now is a global village. In this paradigm, there is no single truth. Everything is subjective. You can believe in God, science, or the flying spaghetti monster. Your gender is whatever you want. Your body is your business. Art doesn't create new meaning, it just deconstructs old ones. Think pop art, The Matrix, and memes. Memes are the ultimate postmodern art form. They are ironic, cynical, and layer after layer of references. But postmodernism brought more than just memes. It changed how we view the structure of the world entirely. If premodernity was a temple and modernism was a factory, then postmodernity is a text. The world is just a collection of symbols and stories. There is no universal American dream or Chinese way anymore. We just adopt aesthetics we see online. We watch Friends and think our friends are our family. We watch Euphoria and start wearing glitter and questioning our identity. We treat life like a movie we're starring in. Am I a Monica or a Rachel? Is my life a comedy or a tragedy? A medieval peasant never asked that. His role was set. But in postmodernity, we constantly ask, who am I? And find no answer, because there is no single answer. Think about it. I watch a news report and I think, okay, that politician makes sense. Then I open Twitter and a thread says, actually, he's a fraud paid for by corporations. I'm like, damn, that's true. Then I listen to a 3-hour podcast and the host says the system is rigged against him. And I'm like, I have no idea what is real anymore. So, postmodernity summary? The truth doesn't exist. Everything is a chaos, a game, a meme. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. But here is the crisis. If nothing matters, why live? People started missing sincerity. We started missing something real, something good. We got tired of constant irony. Enter metamodernity. This is where we are right now. It's like postmodernity, but with a heart. It's called the new sincerity. Think of Adventure Time or Gravity Falls. They're weird and funny, but they're deeply sincere about friendship and love. In postmodernity, you say, I watched this movie, it was trash. I loved it ironically. In metamodernity, you say, I watched this movie, it was trash, and I honestly loved it. I may be cringe, but I am free. We realized that while we can joke about everything, cruelty is not a joke. The only universal value we have left is cruelty is bad. Everything else, you figure it out. Boomers might say the TikTok generation has no sacred values, but Zoomers are actually the most radically anti-violence generation in history. So don't fight your parents about it. They're from the modern era. They believe in the one truth. You are in the metamodern era. You know that paradigms just flow into one another. Pre-modernity, modernity, postmodernity, they all exist right now, side by side. In some parts of the world, people are trying to return to the Middle Ages. In politics, people are trying to bring back the great modern greatness. And you are probably somewhere in the middle, scrolling through memes, looking for meaning. And what is the meaning of life? Well, decide for yourself. Just try not to destroy the planet while you're looking for the answer. And as always, stay curious. Bye.